Welcome back to the How to Slate podcast. This is a quick solo episode that I do recognize is coming out somewhat late, so I do apologize. Um, this is a reflection, uh, and it's a birthday episode. My birthday was August 4th, so opening my 34th year and first podcast of the 34th year with something that's a little bit different from what I'm used to doing here. So, in reflecting, I think that any sort of, whether it's a milestone or a marker in time, can bring up a lot of things for people. So, August 4th marked another year around the sun. And every year, that date brings up some sort of emotional cocktail of reflections, some feelings, sometimes an existential crisis, and gratitude all at once. In previous years, I would take trips to mark the day. I might go to the beach. I might fly out somewhere. Last year was Idaho, experiencing the Tetons with friends. And in part, it was because, and it is because I love pairing new beginnings with an adventure. And if I'm honest, part of that sitting still on my birthday in the same physical space um, might bring up feelings I would happily avoid. So I would joke that if I'm sitting still, that means that I might have a breakdown and we can't have that happen. So I will happily just plan a trip and distract myself and go somewhere. Um, and the thing with avoidance is that it gives power to whatever it is you're avoiding. Like at some point, those feelings or the thoughts are going to surface. And sometimes that feels like a hostage situation, like there's no way out. And so today I want to talk about what past me, when I say past me, I probably mean like 3 weeks ago, past me, needed to hear. And maybe it's some of what you might resonate with and may be able to relate with too. So, marking time, like time is happening no matter what we do, and it only goes in one direction. It only moves forward. In short, might as well make the most of it. More simple, easily said, not easily accepted. So here's what I noticed is that the subtle or not so subtle aggression of self-improvement likes to take the wheel. It likes to be the motivator and say, keep going, keep moving. And then I would ask myself these questions like, another year has gone by. What do you actually have to show for it? Did I actually accomplish anything that I said I would last year? Will life ever look the way I want it to? What else can I do to make my life better? If only my past self knew better. I made this joke in therapy, and my therapist called me out for it. Where I said, I feel like my past self had self-esteem so low a 2-year-old could step over it. And she kind of looked at me and she was like, that's really mean. Like, you're really mean to your past self. And I was like, okay, maybe I should work on this. So I'm working on this out loud with you all listening. So if this sounds familiar, then you might get it. And I call it the battle of acceptance. The process of acceptance feels like a battle in the pursuit of peace. Practicing presence can feel deceptive when you're unsatisfied with the moment you're currently in, with how life is, with chronically thinking of how it should be. Wanting is tricky business. And if you think of the 7 deadly sins, it's basically a reminder of what happens when we cling to wanting more. Sometimes books and quotes will find you the exact moment you need to find them. Think about Oliver Burkeman's book, 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals. He's a productivity, former productivity guy who also really deep dives into meditation. So if that tells you anything about the nature of the book, you might be able to kind of guess on where it goes. But he writes, there is an alternative. The unfashionable but powerful notion of letting time use you, approaching life not as an opportunity to implement your predetermined plans for success, but as a matter of responding to the needs of your place in your moment in history. I like the letting time use you rather than trying to make it something else it needs to be. Because when it comes to time, there's only so much we can control, and time is not one of them. No matter how much we try to hold on to youth, time only moves in one direction. There isn't an amount of supplements or Botox or tea or whatever the new fad is, or collagen powder that's going to reverse it. Getting stuck in our past, self-berating our past selves, and worrying about our future and that chronic uncertainty that leads to anxiety, that is the Buddhist definition of suffering, or dukkha. And then comes comparison, and comparison is not just the thief of joy, it's the thief of our desires. So that is the frame and the complexities and the messiness of what felt like has landed personally for me. And here's what I feel like I needed to tell my past self. It's helpful to remember that in the past, I think of me at 23, 27, even 30. At one point, I dreamed of being exactly where I am. I remember thinking, I'll know I made it if. And it was living in my past apartment that I have now since moved from. Or it was being in my own private practice or starting a podcast. And I dreamed of being exactly where I am now. And it's okay to have new dreams and different wants and goals for the future. And my past self was a daring dreamer. And it's a part of me that I almost forgot was there. I think that we can get really critical of ourselves and forget the strengths that got us to where we are today. The resiliency, the risks we took, the potential we saw and acted on. And that's where gratitude and acceptance come into play. This isn't a gratitude that says, hey, you've made it, everything's worked out. And it's not acceptance that leads to complacency. It's a deep gratitude that past me had the dreams and dared to even go after it in the first place and took risks and grappled with some really messy, complex feelings and situations. So maybe you're marking a birthday, a new milestone, a random Tuesday, or you're in a time and place where life feels really heavy, maybe heavier than it feels like it should. I hope that this gives you something to sit with in thinking about how you can show gratitude to your past self, even if your past self was 10 minutes ago. Couple things. I have a newsletter. So if you want to sign up for the newsletter, there's a variation of this that is all written out. And drink Larry's coffee, as always. Wishing you all acceptance. And keep dreaming. Keep taking risks. As maybe cliche or corny as that sounds, but I think that it gets us to bigger and better places. So until next time, everyone, stay connected.